Still not fluent in Spanish, even after all those Duolingo streaks, grammar apps, and late-night telenovelas you totally told yourself were study sessions. You're not alone. A lot of smart, motivated people hit a wall with language learning. You've put in hours, maybe months or even years, but despite your best efforts, having a real conversation still feels like you're trying to decode ancient hieroglyphics on the fly. You might be thinking, what am I doing wrong? I've memorized half the food menu. I can say hola with a solid accent. And I binge-watched La Casa de Papel with subtitles on. And yet, fluency, still playing hard to get. Today, we're diving into the one mistake that's quietly sabotaging your Spanish progress and how to finally escape the slow lane using insights from Peak, secrets from the new science of expertise. If you want to learn Spanish faster, the answer isn't more effort, it's better strategy. 1. The real mistake, practicing wrong. Here's the deal. It's not that you're not trying, it's that you're trying the wrong way. Most language learners fall into what researchers call naive practice. Basically, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a miracle. Flashcards? Check. Repeating, ¿Dónde está el baño? For the 700th time? Check. But real fluency doesn't come from parroting phrases you already know. That's like going to the gym and only doing bicep curls with a soup can. It feels productive, but you're not building real strength, or in this case, actual communication ability. You don't need more practice, you need smarter practice. So let's talk about what that actually looks like. 2. Deliberate practice. What actually works? Let's upgrade your practice routine to something that actually moves the needle. Deliberate practice is laser-focused, uncomfortable by design, and aimed directly at your weak spots. It forces your brain to adapt. You're not coasting through vocab you already mastered. You're deliberately wrestling with the parts of Spanish that confuse the hell out of you. Ask yourself, are you actively engaging with complex grammar? Or still chilling in the land of me, gusta, and hola? Are you mimicking native speakers, or just hoping osmosis will kick in after enough Netflix? Try shadowing fast-paced Spanish podcasts or shows. Talk about unfamiliar topics out loud. Yes, out loud, even if it feels awkward. Record yourself and notice where you stumble. That's your goldmine. Think of deliberate practice like going to the gym and doing targeted, brutal workouts on that one muscle group you always skip. Painful? Yes. Worth it? Absolutely. True to my learning, I will not be skipping my arm workout today. 3. The myth of natural talent. I'm just not good at languages. Cue the tiny violin. Let's retire this excuse once and for all. No one is born fluent in Spanish unless they grew up in Spain, Mexico, or a Spanish-speaking household. Everyone else? They learned, they practiced, they got better, not because of magical genetics, but because they had better input, better systems, and started earlier. Yes, some people make it look easy. But what you didn't see were the years of awkward mispronunciations, grammar mistakes, and internal crying during verb conjugation drills. What looks like natural is usually just a refined result of strategic effort. So no, you don't lack talent. You lack a system, which, unlike talent, is fixable. 4. Feedback or flop. Feedback is to fluency what oxygen is to your lungs. Without it, progress dies a slow, silent death. Too many learners hide in their comfort zone because they're scared of sounding stupid. So they never ask native speakers for corrections, never record themselves, and never really challenge their output. But here's the reality. If no one is correcting you, you're probably reinforcing mistakes. You're saying, el problema es muy serio, with the wrong emphasis, and everyone's just too polite to laugh. But your brain is memorizing the incorrect version on loop. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Be afraid of never improving. Seek correction like a language gladiator hungry for battle. Whether from an app, a tutor, or that brutally honest Spanish friend, feedback is your fuel. 5. Your brain needs a map. Mental representations. Fluent speakers don't just know more words. They've built mental frameworks, mental representations, that allow them to instantly recognize patterns, predict grammar structures, and spot errors like Sherlock Holmes at a spelling bee. When a native speaker hears, "Yo fui al mercado," they're not decoding it word by word. Their brain just knows it's right. That fluency reflex comes from analyzing the language deeply, over time. You can build this same fluency reflex, but it requires more than exposure. It requires engagement. Don't just memorize phrases, dissect them. Ask why that verb is conjugated that way. Notice the structure, test yourself. The goal, turn clunky translations into smooth, automatic understanding. 6. Your motivation isn't broken, your system is. If you're feeling burned out, inconsistent, or stuck in a rut, it's not because you don't have motivation. It's because your system is broken. Motivation is unreliable. Habits aren't. Set up a study system that doesn't rely on willpower. For example, block 25 minutes for Spanish every day, non-negotiable. Choose one specific skill to attack, like rolling your R's or understanding the subjunctive. Join a Spanish-speaking group where ghosting equals public shame. Just kidding, kind of. Also, gamify your learning. Challenge friends. Set rewards. Trick your brain into loving the grind. And most importantly, remind yourself why you're learning Spanish. Purpose creates consistency. 7. The 10,000-hour rule is a scam. Sort of. Ah yes, the infamous 10,000 hours rule. Newsflash. It's misunderstood and kind of useless unless you know what it actually means. That number came from elite violinists, not casual learners, and it wasn't even a rule, just an observation. The truth? You could do 10,000 hours of bad practice and still suck. What matters isn't the number of hours, it's what you do in those hours. So ditch the hour counting. Focus on intensity, strategy, and feedback. You can make massive progress in a fraction of the time if you focus like a sniper, not a sprinkler. 8. You're not too old. You're just too hesitant. Let's slay one last excuse. I'm too old to learn Spanish. Nope, you're just too self-conscious to sound like a confused toddler in public. And guess what? That's part of the process. Adults actually have major advantages, like discipline, focus, and the ability to reflect and optimize. Kids don't sit around designing efficient language systems. You can. Take Steve Kaufman, who learned over 20 languages after turning 50. If he can do it, so can you. So stop using age as a barrier. It's not age, it's hesitation disguised as realism. If you're still not fluent, it's probably not your fault. It's your method. You've been trying hard, but now it's time to try right. Start practicing deliberately. Seek feedback. Ditch the natural talent myth, and stop waiting for motivation to magically show up. Build a system that works and commit. Learning Spanish isn't about being perfect. It's about being strategic, consistent, and just bold enough to speak like no one's judging. So, what's one thing you're going to change about how you practice Spanish? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more language and life upgrades to escape the average life.